Yeah, so happy new year to us. Yeah. All right, so tonight is going to be for learning how you make use of the Rqtmi Excel template, okay? One thing you must understand, please get your writing material in case you might want to write or jot down some things. Very important. One thing you need to understand here is that Q is a trading bot that helps us to automate our trades, right? But at the same time, remember that Q is a semi or semi-automated bot. Automated, don't mind my writing. But what I'm trying to say here is Q is a semi-automated bot. Please, if you can hear me, let me see a 111 on the chart. I just want to confirm I am not talking to myself. If you can hear me, if I'm audible enough, please let me see a 111 on the chart. Okay, thank you very much. So you need to have this at the back of your mind, because some of us will say, but you said Q is a robot. Why must we have to be the one to set up the trade ourselves? Yes, because it is a semi-automated bot. What I mean by this is that you need to give the bot a set of instruction, a command. Now, it is a command you are giving to the robot that the robot will be making use of to trade for you, to go automated, fully automated for you. Just like you have a shop, a physical shop, you stock that shop with your goods or your product, and you now get a sales boy or a sales girl that will help you sell those stuffs for you. That is the work of this Q. That is what the Q bot is doing on our behalf. I hope what I'm saying is making sense. So we have been able to develop a strategy settings that you are going to use to give the robot set of instructions. That is where this Excel template comes from. The Excel template is to generate the settings you are going to be using with your Q bot while you have your trading capital sitting in your exchange account, which can be Binance or Bybit or whichever exchange you use. It is these settings that you need to understand how to make use of. Because if you do not understand how to make use of these settings, how do you want to be profitable when you don't have settings used based on your capital? So please pay attention. Let's proceed to how to make use of the bots of the settings. Now, for the settings, we have Magic 1, Magic 2, Magic 3, down to what? Can see Magic 8. But the reason why it is up to Magic 8 is because we have settings for the bear season and for the bull season. As you all know, right now we are in the bull season. So the settings that we are going to be making use of is going to be the settings for the bull season, which is what? Which is the Magic 1, Magic 3, and then we have the Magic 5. But there's something very important you need to take note of here. A lot of us here, even me, yes, wants our trade to sell very, very fast, right? But there is something you need to understand that happens in this crypto market every single day. And what is that? The market is always being what? Manipulated. So your technical analysis can never be 100% accurate because you need to take note that the market can go against you. So when it goes against you, do you have your risk management that will take care of when the market goes against you? The reason why you need to take note of applying risk management on your trades. And we have risk management on these settings, which I will explain. For Magic 1, you can see it says covers for 30% dip. This means that when you are making use of Magic Wand settings, if the price of that coin you are trading goes down against you, what happens? The robot will keep on buying because the robot will not use all your capital to trade that coin. It takes the capital bit by bit. That is where margin cost comes from. And I will explain as we proceed. But take note that this 30% dip is the percentage of the price when it falls down. Okay, so this means that when the price starts to go down to 30%, it must have used all your capital. Let's say you are trading with $100 capital, and the coin you are trading with this $100 capital falls down in price to minus 30%. This means that the robot must have used the whole of this $100 to buy that coin at what? A discount price. Now, this is what I am referring to. Let's go to my chart. I want to take my time to break this down for everyone here to understand what I am saying. Now, this is a chart of a coin called Alpine. Now, let me just show you guys something here. Let's take, for example, you buy with your Rqtmi. You buy at this point. You buy. After doing your analysis, everything was okay with your analysis, and you bought here, which is buy. You are expecting the price to start to go up, to go and hit, maybe let's say this is your TP, right? But take a look at what happened. The price fell down. You can see it went down. You can see how it went down. This is what I am saying. So what happens now is that the price will give discounts for you to buy at a discount price before the price will start to go back up. That is where the power of Rqtmi comes in. So when the price is falling down, Rqtmi is busy buying that coin for you at a cheaper price. Remember, cryptocurrency are sold in units or quantity. So the more units you buy, the more money you make. So you need not to panic at all when you notice that your coins are experiencing what we call floating loss. Because please, can you still hear me? Am I still audible?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, my headset just disconnected. Let me quickly remove it. Okay. Awesome. All right. So you need to take note that when you are buying cryptocurrencies, you buy them in units or quantity. So the more units you buy, the more money you make. Like I said, your technical analysis can never be 100% accurate. That is why we have Rqtmi, which is the power of the bot. It buys for us even when the price is falling down. We also make money, right? Depending on when the price will go back up. You can see what happened here. It came down and then started going up. Let's take a look. You can see it went down and started going up. You see, so floating loss is normal. There's no way you say you want to avoid floating loss. When it happens to you, just take note that the market is doing its thing. And you have Rqtmi there where you don't lose money because the robot will never sell for you at a loss. That is what I am referring to here. Covers for 30% dip. But what happens when it has bought all the margin call with all the money, if the coin has gone down to 30% dip? The robot does nothing for you. It will patiently wait for the price to start to go back up before it will start to sell those units that was being bought for you in the dip in profit before it will finally go and hit the take profit and leave the market completely for you, leaving you behind with your profits and your trading capital. I hope it is well understood. Please, if it is understood, let me see a yes on the chat. If it is understood, let me see a yes on the chat. If it is not, let me see a no on the chat. Please, I want everyone here to be very interactive so that I'll make sure everyone here is on the same page with me. I can see somebody saying no. Okay, King Sunday, maybe you're new. Okay, 2 no's. Okay, don't worry, you understand. The session is also being recorded. Maybe you guys didn't come on time, you were late, but nothing to worry about. It is being recorded. Now, that is for Magic 1. Magic 1 covers for 30% dip. Magic 3 covers for 25% dip, and Magic 5 covers for 50% dip. So all you just need to do is to remain patient once your robot is trading for you. How many of you know about the Japanese trader who turned $13,600 to $153 million in 8 years? Yes, in 8 years. You can see the guy. This guy made this profit sitting in his bedroom, and he turned 13,600 to $153 million trading for 8 years. So what I'm trying to say is, whatever you are learn it till you gain mastery. This person, imagine how this person has been using his strategy consistently for 8 years. And you are trying to learn something, you are not being consistent. Just be consistent, go for the knowledge, understand whatever you are being taught, and you put it in practice. That is how you gain mastery. You do one thing 10,000 times to get mastery. So the same thing applies here. You are trading with a strategy. Understand that strategy. Every strategy works. The goal here is to make money, right? The goal here is to make money. So whatever strategy you are using, understand it, learn it very well, practice and implement. That is how you see the result you desire. Now, let's move on to Magic 1. Now, this is Magic 1. How do you now make use of Magic 1? If you see here, it is stated here that what? Minimum capital to use Magic 1 with is what? $320. This means that if your capital is below 320, you cannot make use of these settings. Yes, you cannot use of Magic 1 settings. But remember, Rqtmi will say, ensure you trade minimum number of coins will be 3, maximum number of coins should be 10. Ensure the minimum number of coins you trade is 3 and the maximum number of coins you trade is 10. The reason for this is just for you to be able to apply what we call risk management, because sometimes you might enter a trade and that trade will take some time to sell off. So what if you put all your capital on just one trade and that trade is taking time to sell off? It means that you are not going to make more money. You just relax and be waiting for that trade to sell off. But what if you divide your capital to be able to accommodate or trade 3 coins for you and above? Which makes more sense, right? So the reason why we always say try to trade at least minimum number of 3 coins and maximum number of 10 coins. So it all now depends on your capital, okay? So let's say you have $1,000 capital and you don't know which settings to make use of. It's easy. All you need to do is to go to your calculator, and then you do this, 1,000 divided by 3. Since you know that you can trade 3 coins minimum, let's see how much it will give us. $333 per coin. So this means that you can actually trade 3 coins with $333 per coin. So you are distributing your capital accordingly. That is the reason why I said 1,000 divided by 3. So you are distributing your capital accordingly to your trades. So since you have 333, you go and check Magic 1. What is Magic 1 saying? Magic 1 is saying the minimum capital to make use of here on Magic 1 is $320 and above, and we have 333. This means that we can actually make use of Magic 1. True or false? Please, true or false? Do you agree with me? True or false? Do you agree with me, please, from what I just said? Do we agree that 333 means that we can make use of Magic 1 since it is stated here that the minimum capital is 320 and above? Okay, I can see true, true, true. Awesome. It shows that you guys are paying attention and you're following up with what I've been saying. Awesome. All right, so now that you know that it is 333, how do we now generate the settings? Remember, the goal here is to generate the settings to go and save on your RoyalQ bot. That is now the set of instructions that the RoyalQ bot or the command that the RoyalQ bot will be making use of to trade for you, depending on your capital that will be seated in your exchange account. So now, let's do this. For you to get the settings generated for you, take a look at where we have Remark. Oh, sorry. Let me reduce this to be. Let's take a look at where we have the Remark, the column in green. You see, it says what? 300 there. We need to do something, just a little math. Since you know 333 is the capital per coin, you say 333 minus 20. Where did I get this 20 from? The first buy amount. You can see first buy amount under the 300 is 20. So we have to subtract 20 from the 333. Whatever you get, you subtract this first buy. Whatever you have here as the first buy, you subtract from the capital per coin before you slot it in here, before you write it on this remark. So when we do the maths, let's do the maths. 333 minus 20 minus 20. It will give us what? It will give us $313. So it means that we need to impute the 333 on this column here. So we change what we have there, which is 300, and you write 313, and you enter. When you are using your mobile phone, there is an app called WPS Office. Please take note. If you are using your mobile phone, there is an app called WPS Office. You need to install it for both Android users and iPhone users. Once you install this, then you can now open this template with this software or with the app. If you don't have access to this template, it will be shared across on all the groups where you got this Zoom link from. But I am using my computer, okay? I am also using WPS on my computer because WPS will allow you to be able to edit this column. Without WPS, you cannot edit this column. So take note about that. All right, let's proceed, please. So now that you know how we got this 313, to confirm if what you're doing is correct, all you need to do is to go down where you have margin configuration, go down again. You will notice that the capital is showing here that is 333, which means that we are correct. Remember, we got 333. So to confirm, extra confirmation, come down here, you'll notice that you will still get the same figure, which is 333. And this shows that we are correct, right? We are correct. Now, what is the next step from here? The next step is to go to your RealQ and you save these settings. I will want to do this. I won't want to do this now. I would have loved to do this now, but I want us to finish up with the Magic 1, 5, and Magic 1, 3, and 5 default settings before we show you how you can set this on your RoyalQ back office. Okay, what we are talking about now is called the default settings. This is the default settings, the Rqtmi default settings. Default settings means that you are using these exact settings on this template, which makes you money up and down, downtrend, okay? Uptrend and downtrend. We have the bull tactics category 1 and bull tactics category 2. I will talk about that. But for now, pay attention. We are looking at the default settings, the Rqtmi default settings, which means you are not changing or modifying anything on these settings. You make use of these settings just the way it's being generated for you after you impute your capital here. I hope it is understood. Now, this is how you make use of Magic 1. Let's move on to Magic 3. How do we make use of Magic 3? Let's go to Magic 3. This is Magic 3. And what is Magic 3 saying? Magic 3 is saying the minimum capital here is $100 and above. Yes. This means that if you have below $100, you cannot make use of Magic 3. So how do we now get the right settings with this Magic 3? Let's say your capital is $600 and you don't know which settings to make use of, whether Magic 1 settings, Magic 3, or Magic 5. It is simple. All you need to do is to go to your calculator again. Since you know the minimum number of coins is 3, Can my 500 or 600 accommodate 3 coins? Simple. 600 divided by 3 will give you 200. This means that 200 can be used to trade each coin, making it 3 coins. But how do we now make use of Magic 3? Magic 3 is not the same way you use Magic 1. So pay attention. For Magic 3, you don't need to subtract the first buy before you impute the capital on this remark. First buy is 15, right? Remember for Magic 1, we subtracted the first buy, which is 20, before we slot in the capital here. But for Magic 3, you do not subtract the first buy. Just slot in the 200 directly here without any subtraction. This is how you make use of Magic 3. Once you do this, you can also get an extra confirmation. How do you do so? You go down, you can see here we have $200, which means that we are correct. This is how you get an extra confirmation if what you're doing is correct. Remember, Magic 3, you do not subtract the first buy before you slot in your capital on the remark to get your settings. But for Magic 1, you need to subtract the first buy. Write this down, please. This is how you make use of Magic 3. So once you slot in the capital, it will generate the settings for you. Then you go and save on your royal queue. Like I said, that would be done once we are done with the Magic 1, 3, and 5 explanation. I'll show you guys how to save these settings easily on your royal queue as a template so that you don't need to always save these settings each time you want to trade. No, that is stressful. RealQ has made this very easy for everyone and flexible, whereby you can save this as a template on your RealQ account so that whenever you want to trade, you just go and load that settings on that coin and you start your trade immediately. Simple as that. So let's move on to the Magic 5, the Rqtmi Magic 5 settings. Now for the Magic 5 settings, this is Magic 5. What does Magic 5 says? Magic 5 says minimum capital to make use of is what? $520. This is the best settings to make use of, which I will explain why. Magic 1 and Magic 5 is good, but Magic 5 is the best. It all depends on your capital. We are not saying you will not make money with Magic 3, but what we are saying is among the 3 Magic settings, Magic 1, 3, and 5, Magic 5 is the best, which I will tell you why it is the best, but pay attention. So now that you know that the minimum capital for Magic 5 is $520, let's assuming you have $1,800 capital to trade with, and you don't know which settings to make use of. Since you know that you can divide by 3 to see if you can accommodate 3 coins, and when you divide by 3, it gives you what? 600. 600, okay. Among the 3 settings, what should be on your mind from which settings to make use of? It is going to be Magic 5, of course, because I just said that Magic 5 is the best settings to use, and you have a minimum capital of 520 to use Magic 5. And what we have here is 600. So this is very well understood, right? So you know that now you have to make use of Magic 5. But how do we now get this setting generated from Magic 5? It is the same way we did for Magic 1. Magic 1 and Magic 5 is the same way, only Magic 3 is different. So what we need to do here is to minus 600 from 20. Okay? So when you say 600 minus 20, it will give you 580. Then you now impute your 580 on this remark. First buy is 20. This is the first buy. That is where I got the 20 from. So it says 600 minus 20 will give you 580, meaning that you are going to write your 580 here. So let's impute 580 here. And to get an extra confirmation, you go down again to your magic confirmation. Go down, down, down. You notice that what we have here is what? 600. You can see. So this shows you that what you're doing is correct. Why did I say that Magic 5 is the best? For Magic 5, when it buys the first to the fourth call, 50% of your capital will be used to buy that coin. while the remaining 50% of the capital will be distributed from the fifth call down to the last call. When we say margin configuration, this is the engine of your settings. This is where all the buy and sell take place. This is where the robot will buy for you when the market is downtrend and when the market is uptrend and sell for you. Remember I said when the price is giving you discount, the robot will be buying for you because it wants to accumulate more units. Cryptocurrency is being sold in units. It wants to accumulate more units for you. That is why this robot is called a quantitative robot. It's usually what we call margin calls, martingale strategy. It buys bit by bit, it distributes its capital. So we have already been able to create the settings for you based on our experience. So we know that floating loss must happen. Even in the bull run, people will take profit, just like what is happening right now. Even in the bull run, yes, the market will go down and go up. People must take profit, of course. You cannot stop people from taking profit, true or false? True, because people must take profit. You cannot control or stop people from taking profit. So what happens when the price goes down? You know that your robot will buy the dip for you. Your robot will handle everything for you. So you have nothing to worry about, right? Now, what this first call means is that when the price drops down by minus 0.2%, it will buy. But how much will this robot use to buy from your capital? Remember, your capital here is 600. This is $600 settings. This is where the max now comes in. The multiple buy-in ratio is 1.5. 1.5 multiplied by the first buy amount, which is 20. First buy amount is the first amount that the robot will use to buy for you, that coin for you, to start to trade for you. So meaning that it will deduct 20 from this 600 and buy for you. That is why we have the first buy amount here, this place here. So first buy amount, once you hear first buy amount, the first thing that should come to your mind is that that is the first amount the robot will deduct from your trading capital to buy that coin for you, to show that it has started trading for you. Then instead of the price to go up, it starts to go down. It is normal because the price needs to go down before it will go up. Yes, most times it will come down first before going up. Always gives discount. The market always gives you discount to buy at a cheaper price. Okay, so now that you know this, the robot will wait patiently for the price to drop down. Let's say it drops down by the settings being used here, 0.2% in price. It will trigger and buy the first call. But how much will this robot make use of to buy for you? That is where it will do a math by itself for you, which is 1.5 multiplied by 20. So when we do the maths here together, 1.5 multiplied by 20 will give you what? $30. So it will use another $30 after making use of the first buy, which is $20, meaning that $50 is already used to buy that coin that is trading for you. What if the price drops down again? It drops down again to minus 0.5%. It will do the same thing again. It will buy for you, but this time around, 5.8 multiplied by first buy, which is 20. So let's do the math. 5.8 multiplied by 20, it will give you 116. So 116 plus 50, this means that $166 has been used to buy that coin from the $600 trading capital that was allocated to trade this coin for you. Please, is everybody following up with what I've been saying? From what I've said so far, do you understand everything that has been said? Please let me see your chat. I want to ensure everybody here is on the same page. From what I've said so far, is it well understood? Yes, questions can come in, please. Once I'm done, you can just write down your questions so that you will not forget. Write down your questions. When it's time for questions, I will allow all of you to ask your questions. Please, I would love to see more yeses. Please, yeah, don't worry about that. Questions can come in. You can ask your questions. I'm here for you. Awesome. All right. So now that I understand all this, I don't need to explain everything because it is still the same process that the robot will make use of, depending on when the price starts to go down. But take notes now. take note of something here. Pay attention. Pay attention, please. Pay attention. What's happening? Okay. Pay attention here. I want to explain something very important. Okay. So remember, I made mention of something. I said for Magic 5, the reason why it is the best settings is that when it buys the first to the fourth call, normally, by default, when the robot buys the first buy, FB, pay attention here, please. When this robot buys the first buy with $20 and buys the first, second, third, fourth call, it takes everything as a single entity, one. Why? From the fifth call is where the robot will start to make money for you down trend. But from the first to the fourth call is single entity, meaning that when it buys the first to the fourth call plus the first buy, it keeps the capital that was used to buy separately, while the remaining capital that will be used to buy the fifth call downward is what will be buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling for you, up and down, buying, selling. Why do I say that? Is because the way this robot is being configured, the fifth call, when you are on sub-binary time settlement, okay, on sub-binary time settlement, the settings we use a lot. Sub-binary time settlement meaning that from the fifth call downward, it makes money for you downtrend because we know that the market can go down before going up, right? So let's assuming that it bought the fifth call, bought the sixth call, it bought the fifth call with 0.3 times, let's do the math, 0.3 times 20 times 20, $6. Okay, so it used $6 to buy the fifth call. Then the next one is what? 1.2. 1.2 times 20, $24. It used $24 to buy again the sixth call. Let's stop at the seventh call. Then the seventh call, what do we have for seventh call? 0.3, which is another $6. Okay, let's stop at eighth call, another $24. So let's assuming the robot bought the fifth call down to the seventh call. And then from here, the market starts to go back up. Before the market will go up to the sixth call, it will have to sell, sorry, the eighth call, I mean, let me put it at the eighth call, because we stopped at the eighth call. It goes from the fifth call down to the eighth call. Then from the eighth call, the market starts to reverse back up, right? What will happen here is that since the fifth call downward are single entity, now single entity, 2, 3, single entity, 4. Remember, first buy to the fourth call is 1. I marked it as 1 as a single entity. But from the fifth call, each of them will be single entity. Why? Because when it wants to sell them, it sells them separately and give you back the capital and profit. This is what I mean by single entity from the fifth call downward. So it bought down to the eighth call, right? But from the eighth call, the market starts to go back up. What happens? The robot will have to sell this $24 and give you, depending on how many percentage profit was used there, which is 1.8% for Magic 5. 1.8%. 1.8% of $24 it will give you and return it back to your winners. Whatever capital that was used, 1.8 of that will give you based on how many units it bought. It will sell these, sell the seventh call, sell the sixth call, sell the fifth call, then go to the fourth call. It will not sell again. It will sell everything as single entity from the fourth call. Now let me do this. So when it gets to the fourth call, it will not sell the fourth or third or second call singly. No, it will sell everything together as a single entity, together with the first buy. So if $200 was used to buy the first buy to the fourth call, first to the fourth call, whatever that was used, if it's 3% of $200 is what will be your profit. Please, is this understood? For the margin configuration, I'm trying to explain this because this is the engine of your settings. This is where all those profits are being made from, depending on how the market behaves. So you need to understand this. Don't just sit and say, oh, I'm making money, but you don't even know how the money is being made for you. Understand this business. When you understand the business, you even gain that confidence to even tell people about the business, or you know what is, at least know what is happening. Don't just say it's magic. No, it is not magic. Everything is there. But do you understand what is happening? Please, Is the margin configuration fully understood now? I want to hear from you guys. Is the margin configuration fully understood now? Now let's go up. Let's check other settings at the top. Now that I understand the margin configuration, let's go to the top. Remember, we have some other settings at the top. What is risk type? Risk type, we use radical. We have steady, we have radical, and we have, I've forgotten the other name. There are 3 settings there, but we use radical. Why? Because we want it to be very aggressive in buying and selling for us. That's the reason why we choose to use radical. You can use anyone, it doesn't matter, but we use radical because we want the robot to be very aggressive in buying and selling for us. Remark here is just to generate the settings for you on your templates. But we also have remark on RoyoQ. When we are saving these settings on RoyoQ templates, we have where it's called a remark. But for the RoyoQ remark, you don't need to put anything there, but you can as well just put the capital you are trading with. Let's say this is $600 capital settings. On your remark on RealQ, when you are saving, I'll show you guys how to do that. You just say $600 capital. You can write $600 capital default, just for you to know that, okay, these settings I just saved now is for $600 capital. Should in case you want to add more settings, you'll be able to identify them by their descriptions, right? That is why you need to give the settings a description. That is for the remark. For the first buy amount now, let's come back here. First buy amount, which I've explained for you, that is the first amount that is going to be taken from your capital to start trading for you. Open position doubled. We don't make use of this because it will multiply your first buy times 2. We don't need this. It's not important. We don't make use of this. AI margin call controls how it buys your margin calls for you, which I just explained. We don't also use it because we already have our manual settings. We don't use this. Margin call limit. Good. What is margin call limit? You see, we have 24 there. It means that this robot will buy for you 24 times margin calls. So when the price is dropping, based on the margin call call percentage, it buys them up to 24th call before it will finish exhausting your capital on the coin. See, this margin call drop percentage, you can see 1, 2, 3, down to 24. It means that it will distribute your capital into 24 places. So if the price is going down, it will keep buying because it has reserve already, because it has distributed the capital into 24 for you, waiting for the price to go down or go up. That is the use of this margin call limit. Hold position take profit ratio. This is another good thing here you need to take note of. Remember, I said when the robot buys the first buy, the first to the fourth call, it takes everything as one entity, which is single entity. So let's say $200 was used to buy, from the $200, the first buy was used to buy, it was used to buy the first buy, some money was used to buy the first buy, then the remaining money was used to buy the first to the fourth call. When it is selling, it gives you whatever you have here, which is 3% for this example. So if your whole position take profit, which is your final take profit, is 1.5%, it will give you 1.5% of the total capital that was used to buy the first buy, the first to the fourth call. So 3% of 200 is what it will give you when it is about to hit the final take profit and close the trade completely. This is for the whole position take profit ratio. For the whole position take profit callback, where you see we have 0.01, it means that when the robot wants to sell, remember, it is to sell at 3%, but this happens a lot in the crypto market or in the financial market. The price can just jump up and go above the 3% that it's supposed to sell. It won't sell. Why? Because of these settings here. Whole position take profit callback. What is callback? Callback means a pullback or a retracement. So once the robot goes, once the price goes beyond this 3% that it's supposed to sell, the robot will not sell. It will still hold your position until when there is a callback or pullback or retracement of 0.01% before it will now sell and leave the market, meaning that it will make you more money. It might make you 3.5%, sometimes even 4%, sometimes 4.5%. All depends on the spike. Sometimes price can just pump massively. You can see how powerful this robot is. So tell me, if you are a manual trader, how you can do all this by yourself. It is not possible, ladies and gentlemen. It is not possible. Now, let's move on to the buy-in callback. Buy-in callback, for this, you see the same 0.01%. It controls how it buys the margin calls for you. So if it's supposed to buy at 0.2% dip, it goes beyond it. Once there's a retracement of 0.01%, it will buy for you. Same thing similar to the take profit. Okay, but for this, it's for the buying of the margin calls under the margin configuration. Now, we have again what we call distributed take profit allocation. You can see for this is 1.8%. If you remember when I was explaining the fifth call downward, I explained the fifth call downward. What happens when it buys the fifth call downward? It takes each of them, of these margin calls, as a single entity, right? So when it is selling each one of them, when the price starts to go back up, it gives you whatever that was used on the distributed allocation or distributed take profit allocation, which is 1.3%. So whatever profit that was, whatever capital that was used to buy the fifth call, when it wants to sell before it goes up, it will sell and give you 1.8% profit. Whatever capital that was used to buy the seventh call, before it moves to the sixth call, before the price will get to the sixth call, it will have to sell this to give you 1.8%. I hope this is understood. Now let's move on to the next. What do we have next here? Okay, sub position take profit callback. Sub position take profit callback. It is the same thing I explained for the whole position take profit callback. This is for this. So when it is supposed to sell from the fifth call downward, each of the single entity with each of those margin calls, fifth call downward, when it is selling to give 1.8% and there is a spike and the price goes above this 1.8%, the robot will not sell. It will wait for a pullback of 0.01% before it will now sell, making you more profit. It can be 1.82%, it can be 1.85%, it can even be 1.9%, it can even be 2%. All depends on the spike that happened at that particular time. I hope it is clear. And remember, we have strategy period, which is one shot. One shot means a one-time trade. We have two types of strategy period. We have the cycle and we have the one shot, which is this. The cycle means you want to completely put your trade on fully autopilot, meaning that once you set your trade, it will keep buying, selling, buying, selling, buying. It will keep on buying, selling for you to not leave the market. And we have a special settings for this and a minimum capital to trade on cycle if you want to really see that profit you want. But if you don't have up to that amount, you stick to your one shot settings, which the minimum trading capital for the one shot is $100. While for the cycle is $3,675. Okay. Now, one shot means that the robot, once it hits the final take profit, it will sell and leave the market for you completely. That is the difference from one shot and cycle. And one shot makes you more money than cycle. I hope this is fully understood. For those who are saying you don't understand, do not worry. When you watch the recording and you keep on attending our sessions, you will understand. And when people ask questions, you also understand. You cannot learn everything in one day. It's not possible. It is a gradual process. Okay. Now that you fully understand the Rqtmi default settings, permit me to share my screen on my phone so that I'll show you how to impute these settings, how to save these settings on your Rqtmi. So let's take the Magic 5 as an example to save on our Rqtmi. Okay, let's use this Magic 5 settings to save. Remember, this capital is for $600. Okay, now I'll share my screen. Let me share my screen. Give me a second. Let me share my mobile screen. Okay, I'm about to share my screen now. Share screen. I believe every one of you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Please confirm if you can see my mobile screen. I'm sharing my mobile screen right now. Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm about to open my Rqtmi. Once I open my Rqtmi, okay, this is my Rqtmi app. When you get your Rqtmi app, you want to save your settings. Remember, we have gotten our settings from the template, from the Rqtmi Excel template. What is the next step from here? You go to mine. If you check at the bottom right of my screen, we have where mine is written, right? Mine is written. So you tap on mine, you go down, you look for where we have my strategy settings. My strategy settings. That is where we are to save the settings. That is the template on your Rqtmi account. Okay. And remember, I said you can save once and you keep on making use of it. So it is always reusable. Each time your trade has sold off, you can go and use the same settings on another coin. Okay. Now let's tap on strategy settings. You can see I have a whole lot of settings here. You can have as much as you can. That is why you need to give it a description so that you won't get yourself confused. When you get here, the next thing to do is to tap on the plus icon at the top right of your screen. You can see on my screen, we have the plus icon. When you tap on it, guess what will happen? It will show you the exact template on that Excel sheet. The exact template on that Excel sheet. The risk type, remember, I said we have three types, the radical, steady, and conservative. But what we make use of is radical. Use what you see on that Excel template. Copy and paste after you must have imputed your capital first, please. Take note. Don't just go and copy and paste without doing the needful. What is the needful? You need to calculate your capital, to know how you are going to distribute your capital, to know which settings to make use of, whether Magic 1, Magic 3, or Magic 5. Then you come to your Rqtmi and you save whatever it generates for you on the template. So now, the first thing here is the risk type. What is the risk type on the template? It says use radical. You tap on where you have radical and you change it to radical. Where you have steady and you change it to radical and you tap on sure. This is where I tapped on. For those who say they didn't see it, you tap on this place, it will open and you change it to radical and you tap on sure. Once you're done, the next thing here is the remark I talked about. This remark is not the same as the one on the template. This one is just telling you that, okay, you can leave it, it can be optional, or you just give this a name, a description. So in my own case, I'll do this. I'll say $600 capital. And I'll name it default. Why? Because I want to save default and bold settings on my Rqtmi so that when it is the bold settings I want to make use of, I'll quickly tap on the bold settings. If it's the default settings, I'll tap on the default settings. But for now, I am trying to put you guys through for the default settings. The bold settings will come next, okay? But for now, pay attention, please. This is for the default settings. So I'll name it $600 capital default. What is the first buy amount? The first buy amount on the template says use $20. What is the open position double? Don't enable. It is already turned off by default. What is to be used for the AI margin call is turned on, but the template says don't enable. So you tap on it to switch it off. How about the margin call limit? 24, not 7. You change it to 24. You need to change all these default settings to what you see on the template. And for this, it's 3%. You can change this, all depends on what you're trading. It can be 1.5%, it can be 3, it can be 5, whatever. But I'm just using 3 here as the default, but you can edit it whenever you want to pick a trade, okay? Before you save, you can just edit to whatever you want to use based on what you are seeing or what the signal says you should use. Now, what position take profit callback? 0.01%. 0.01%. Margin configuration, remember, this is the engine of your settings. And remember when I explained this part, for the Magic 5, it says 0.2, 0.5. All these are on the template. But I won't walk you through because you already understand what I'm trying to do here. So you need to put everything you see on that template here down to the 24th call because it is 24 margin call limit. Same thing goes to the multiple buying ratio. When you're done with this, you do for this other column downward. When you're done with this downward, you do for this other side, which is the multiple buying ratio. The exact thing you see on the template, you put it down all through. When you are done, you now go down and tap on sure to save. So let's assume that we are done saving what we see on the template. Just tap on sure to save. What is the next thing? The next thing here is buy in callback after the margin configuration, 0.01%. Distributed take profit allocation, which I explained from the fifth call where it makes you money downtrend, fifth call down to the last call, which is 24. On the Magic 5, it says just 1.8%. So you put 1.8% all through, please. Let's assume we are done, you tap on sure to save. What is the next thing from here? Sub position take profit callback, 0.01%. Now the last is the strategy period. You can see by default there, it says circle. A lot of people, when they are saving their settings, they always forget to change it to one shot. Please don't forget this. Always cross-check before you save your settings in case you have done a mistake. So for this part, for the strategy period, all you need to do is to tap on where you say circle, okay? Circle, because we want to change it to one shot. Once you tap on circle, you can see it has been switched to one shot. Now you can save your setting because you are done with every parameters here. So just tap on save. Tap on save, it will save your settings for you. Simple and straightforward. Is this part understood? Please, do you understand how we save these settings on our Rqtmi account? Do you understand how we save these settings on our Rqtmi account? Awesome. So let's say we want to trade now. You want to trade, for example, you want to trade, let's say, AV, for example, you tap on it, you tap on create, you leave it on martingale strategy board, you tap on create again, you go down, we have a guide on this. You tap on trade settings. When it takes you here, you need to tap on manually create because this is a manual settings. Manually create, you tap on it, it should switch. Then now you tap on where we have my template. This choose a strategy settings. You tap on this choose a strategy settings. It will now open up that template where you saved all your settings. It is now for you to choose which settings you want to make use of. See the one we just saved here. You can see it is up. So you tap anywhere around here to select this one. You can see another one down is 333 capital. This is for this. Every one you see here, this one is for this. This capital is this settings, this description you see here is for these settings. This one here is for these settings. So if we want to use this first one, which is 600, you tap around this area to select the settings. So when I tap on 20 here, when I tap on 20, it will select. You can see. For you to be sure that it has selected, you can see 0.01, 24, 3. You know that this is the settings. This is the right settings. Next thing to do here is what? You go to where we have strategy mode. You tap on it, you choose this last option, sub being return settlement, meaning that you want it to be showing you the profit that was made when it bought on the downtrend for you from the fifth call downward. But if you use sub B mode, it will not show you until it sells finally completely. It will be selling, but it will use back your capital again to buy for you. And people don't like using that because they want to be seeing how much the robot is making for them from the fifth call downward. That is the downtrend. So we always use this last one, which is sub-bin real-time settlement. Show me the profit that was made for me in real time when it started selling for me during the downtrend from the fifth call downward. Because the fifth call downward is to make money for you downtrend. Even when the price is falling down, the robot is buying and selling, buying and selling. It is making money for you on those sub sales, depending on when it will finally go up and sell completely. So we choose this option, sub-bin real-time settlement. Then first buy, don't forget, it has to be 20 because 20 is what we use for the Magic 5 as first buy. So if you see 12 here, make sure you edit to 20, and then you can now save. You save, okay, and then you can now activate your boat. You can now start your boat. You tap on this activate, and you proceed to do the needful, and you start your trade. This is how you start your trade on RoyalQ. Now, let's move back to my computer. Let me show you guys how you get the bull tactics settings and what is the difference between the default settings and the bull tactics. We have the bull tactics category 1 and bull tactics category 2. So let's switch back to my computer, please. Let me share my computer screen. Let me share my computer screen. Are you learning something tonight, please? Or am I too fast? I hope I am not too fast. Am I too fast? Am I too fast? Remember, it is recorded, okay? You can rewatch the recording over and over and over again. Awesome. Now, we are back to my computer. I want to show you guys how to use the bull tactics. When you hear the word bull, what comes to your mind? It means that the settings is for the bull season, right? But take note, there are conditions that you need to agree with before you make use of the bull tactics. And I also show you how you can combine both. You can combine the bull tactics and the default settings to be profitable, to get the result you desire, okay? Now, let's take an example with the Magic 5 using the bull tactics category 1 first, before we talk about the bull tactics category 2. For the bull tactics category 1, the condition that you need to agree on is that 1, you don't make money downtrend. Yes, that fifth call, sixth call downward, you are not going to make money for the bull tactics category 1. You only make money uptrend, but when it is selling for you, whatever your capital is, let's say $600, for example, you make whatever take profit of your total capital of 600, for example, this capital. So if your take profit is 3%, you are making 3% of 600, which is massive, right? But remember, conditions that needs to be met, that you need to agree on before you make use of bull tactics category 1. You don't make money downtrend. You only make money uptrend from the fourth call up. But when it is selling, whatever take profit you are using, you make that take profit of 3%, 2%, 5% of your total capital. Your total capital that you allocated on that trade, on that coin, which is 600 in this case. Please, is this clear for the bull tactics category 1? The conditions, again, you need to agree on. You are not making money downtrend. You only make money uptrend. But when it is selling, your whole position take profit ratio, this, your whole position take profit ratio, if it's 3% you're using, or if it's 5%, or if it's 1.5%, or if it's whatever you're making, even if it's 10%, whatever you're using here, it will sell and give you that profit of your total capital. That percentage of your total capital, that is how bull tactics category 1 works. But how do you now make use of this bull tactics category 1? Because of course, you need to do some you need to tweak. You need to tweak something. You need to modify some things on the settings so that it will be able to follow this instruction you want it to. So how do you now modify these settings? Pay attention, please. Let's see how to modify the settings. Remember, for Magic 5, when it buys the first to the fourth call, 50% of your capital has been used to buy that coin, trading for you. While the remaining capital is going to be there, waiting for the price to fall down again to the fifth call, sixth call, and start to buy for you. But each of them are a single entity. So in this case, since remember I said both taxes category 1 will not make money for you downtrend. What am I referring to? It means from the fifth call, it won't make you money downtrend. So we are to modify this 0.2% to what? To 50%, because it will be very difficult for a coin to dip down to 50% in the bull season. Very, 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 very difficult. So the reason why we are putting 50% is for the boat not to buy. When it gets to this fifth call, it will stop. Then what happens? You now go and use the leftover capital. Remember, there are still some leftover capital that is supposed to use to buy the fifth call downward. You now use to do what we call manual replenishment or manual buy, which I'll show you how to do that on RealQ. When we are talking about manual buy, it means that you want to add up the leftover capital to these positions of the first entity, which is the first buy down to the fourth call. So if $200 was used to buy this first entity, the remaining leftover capital, let's say, is 300. It's now going to be 500 because you are adding 300 to this 200. So it will now be together with this first to the fourth call plus the first buy. So when it is selling, it will sell everything together once. So how do we now calculate the leftover capital for this $600? Because this settings is for 600, right? Now, this is a simple math you do. Don't get yourself confused. Very simple math, please. It is very easy. For you to know the leftover capital, you have to calculate the first to the fourth call. This is the multiple buying ratio. You calculate the multiple buying ratio, the first to the fourth call. Now, let's go to my calculator. 1.5 plus 5.8, right? 5.8, sorry, plus 1.5 again, then plus the fourth call, which is 5.8. What I got was 14.6. Take note, if you're doing calculation, don't go and add anything again. Once you get this 14.6, you can say plus 1. Okay, let's do plus 1 first. You have to add 1 to it. Plus 1. Whatever you get, you must add plus 1 to it. So plus 1 gave us what? 14.6, right? Now you erase everything. Take note, 14.6. You now say 14.6 again. Now multiply by the first buy. What is the first buy? 20. Multiply by 20. It will now give us 292. This means that $292 will be used to buy the first buy down to the fourth call, will be distributed on the first buy down to the fourth call. Now, this will easily tell you how much leftover capital will be. And how do you get this? You say 600 minus 292. 600 minus 292. Please, I hope I've not scattered your head because of this little calculation. It's little because I know it might, though some people here might not like maths, but just write this down. It's very easy. You just add all this addition, you add all this, first to the fourth call. When you add them, 1.5 plus 5.8 plus 1.5 plus 5.8, whatever you get, plus 1. This one is constant, plus 1. Whatever you get, we got 14.6, everything. You now see multiply by the first buy, which is 20. 292 is what we got. For you to know your leftover capital, what is your capital on these settings? Is 600, right? 600 minus 292. 292 will now give you 308. So 308 will be what's supposed to be splitted down to the fifth call to the 24th call. So this is the amount we are going to use to do our manual
buy. So now that you understand this, you have to go to your settings again, RoyoQ, and save these settings. But this time around, you have to modify the fifth call, change it to 50%, and you name it Bull Tactics Category 1. Then you write down the leftover capital. So let's say you want to trade a coin with the Bull Tactics Category 1. You have started the trade with that coin. Once it buys the first buy amount, which is 20, you can now go ahead and do your manual buy. Your manual buy. You open the coin. Once you open the coin, as it's trading, you go to strategy, you open the coin. Once you open the coin, you see where we have buy. Let me show you guys on my screen. Please don't worry. If you are not understanding, watch the replay. Once you watch the replay, you understand, okay? You will understand. It is not difficult. It is not difficult. Let me share my screen on my mobile. Give me a second. Okay. So I want to show you guys how to do manual buy. Manual buy. So let's say this coin, you are trading this coin and you open it. It takes you here. All you need to do here is to tap on buy. We want to do, it is called manual buy because we are manually buying. We have manual buy, we have manual sell, but we are not talking about sell now. We are talking about manual buy. So you tap on manual buy. You tap on buy, you tap on buy. When you tap on buy, it takes you to this page. Take note. Two things happens here depending on the kind of phone you use. If you're an Android user, take note. If you're an iPhone user, take note. For Android users, this is an Android phone, right? When you tap on that buy, it opens up this page for you. You tap on market price. On market price to make sure you abide at the market price. If you don't tap on this market price, it is not going to buy for you. So you tap on market price, ensure it is showing blue, meaning that it has been selected. Then now come here. What was the leftover capital we got? 308, right? You now write 308 and tap on sure. This is for Android users. But for iPhone users, once you come here, you tap on buy. By default, market price has been selected for you by default. You don't need to tap anything like market price again. Just come here and write 308, whatever leftover capital you got, pending on the calculation, because definitely the leftover capital will change depending on how much trading capital you're using. But for my own case, what I got was 308, right? So if you open this on your iPhone by default, market price has been selected. Go ahead and put the leftover capital on the next column down and tap on sure. This is how you do what we call manual buy or manual replenishment. I hope it is understood. Please, I hope this is understood. This is for the Bull Tactics Category 1. Do not worry, it is being recorded. Watch it over and over again and come back on Friday to ask your questions. We do this every Fridays. Now let's go back. Let's go back to my computer so that I'll show you how to use the Bull Tactics Category 2. The Bull Tactics Category 2. The Bull Tactics Category 2. For the Bull Tactics Category 2, the condition you need to agree on is that you make money to a certain margin call. You make money downtrend to a certain margin call. But when it is selling, it is not the same thing with the Bull Tactics. But you make money downtrend to a certain margin call drop, okay? Depending on how the market misbehaves or how the market reacts. So let me show you what I mean by what I'm saying. For the Bull Tactics Category 2, you are going to make money downtrend down to the 10th call. So if you buy the first call down to the 10th call, it will stop. Meaning that we don't want it to buy the 11th call downward. Let me make this smaller so that you see. what I mean. So we don't want it to buy the 11th call downward, but we want it to stop at the 10th call, okay? We want it to stop at the 10th call. Then from the 11th call downward, we are going to stop it from buying. How do we stop it from buying? We are going to edit, modify again the 11th call and change it to 50%. Simple. Meaning when the robot starts to buy, it gets to the 10th call, it won't buy again. The robot will be waiting for the price to start to go up before it will sell. So it will make you some money downtrend before it finally go and sell. That's the difference between the bull tactics category 1 and bull tactics category 2. So what do we now do with this leftover capital from the 11th call? We use it to do manual buy, to add it to the first to the 4th call plus the first buy. So how do we calculate the leftover for this bull tactics category 2? How do we calculate? Somebody said, what happens if the market dips? Yes, you will not make money. Just listen. That's why I said I'll tell you how to combine these with default settings. Okay, I'll tell you how to combine these with the default settings. So how do we now get the leftover capital? Simple. You add up all these to the 10th call. Whatever you get, you add everything. The same thing I showed you guys for the bull tactics category 1. But in this case, we are calculating down to the 10th call because we want it to buy from the 11th call. So we are stopping at the 10th call. Add up everything, whatever you get plus 1. The total you get multiplied by the first buy, which is 20 for Magic 5. Let's say you got, I don't want to do it calculation because time is no longer on our side. Let's say you got 350, for example. 350. You now say, what is the capital? 600. 600 minus 350. Whatever I get will now be the leftover capital to use to do your manual buy or manual replenishment. This is how you use the bull tactics category 2 for Magic 5. But for Magic 3, now let's go to Magic 3. Magic 3, you cannot make use of bull tactics category 2. You can only make use of bull tactics category 1. Yes, for Magic 3. But how do we get the Magic 1 to be used on the, how do we get the bull tactics category 1 to be used on the Magic 3? Simple. You go down. We don't want it to buy the second call downward. We only want it to buy the first call. Meaning that you have to modify this second call, change it to 50%. How do we know the leftover capital from the second to the 7th call? 2.3 plus 1, whatever we get, let's do the math. 2.3 plus 1, 3.3. 3.3 multiplied by 15. Where did I get 15 from? Because the first buy amount for Magic 3 is $15. So you say times 15 equals to 49.5. What is the capital? 200, right? 200. 200 minus 49.5. 150.5. 150.5. Forget about the 0.5. Use your 150 to do your manual replenishment or manual buy. Once your robot starts and it picks the trade, it has started trading for you, it has bought the first buy, even bought the first call, it doesn't matter. As long as it has started trading for you, go ahead and do your manual buy with your $150. This is how to use the bull tactics category 1 for Magic 3. You cannot make use of bull tactics category 2 on Magic 3. Let's go to Magic 1, which is the last. Magic 1, you can use bull tactics category 1 and 2 on Magic 1 because it is the same thing with Magic 5. The same process with Magic 5. You are going to modify the 5th call, is 0.2, you change it to 50%. For bull tactics category 1, add up all these plus 1, whatever I get multiplied by first buy, which is 20, the same thing with Magic 5. Same thing goes to bull tactics category 2 on Magic 1. You stop it from buying the 11th call. The same thing with Magic 5. I hope this is well understood. This will be the end of this presentation. So I will allow you guys to ask your questions. Please feel free. Do not be shy. There is no question here that is not relevant. Please ask your questions. Ask your question. But let me start going through the chat to see if there are questions because I already I can already see a lot of questions being asked on the chat. Let me quickly check through and see. Let me see. Please drop your questions. I'll read them out and answer. Okay, I forgot something very important. I said I will show you guys how to combine both settings, the default settings and the bull tactics. Okay, now take notes. Remember, we said minimum number of coins is 3, maximum number of coins is 10 to trade. That's what we recommend, right? If you are trading 3 coins, take note, 3 coins, 2 coins should be on default settings, DE. 1 should be on bull tactics category 1, not 2. Bull tactics category 1. If you are trading 4 coins, 2 coins should be on default settings and 2 coins should be on bull tactics, same category 1. We don't make use of bull tactics category 2, but you can use it if you want. You already understand everything here I've said. So all depends on what you want to use. But what I'm saying is use 2 if you are trading 4 coins, 2 on default and 2 on bull tactics category 1. Now with this, even when the market goes against you, the 2 on default will be making money for you downtrend, depending on when the price will go back up for the bull tactics and it will now sell and make you more profit, right? So it all depends, because in the bull run that we are about to experience very soon, once it's swaying Donald Trump, you see how the market will be created. So these settings will be very, very powerful. Even now, it's very, very useful, but you need to combine both with what the default settings. If you are trading 6 coins, 3 should be on default and 3 should be on bull. If you are trading 5 coins, 3 should be on default and 2 should be on bull tactics category 1. If you are trading 10 coins, 5 should be on default and 5 should be on bull tactics category. So it all depends on how you want it. I hope this is clear now. So let me go back to the questions, please. Let me go back to the questions. All right, somebody said his real Q is showing. Okay, Queen Amina said, Queen Amina Bedu, I believe you're still here and you can hear me. You said that your royal Q is showing 000. All trades at the home page are not showing. Yes, that is because our network is terrible. Our network lately has been terrible, whether MTN or Glo or Airtel. Sometimes it will open your royal queue very well, it will load it very well, sometimes it doesn't. So the only solution for that is to use a VPN. Okay, please use a VPN. We have shared a VPN which is called USA VPN. We have shared that VPN across. I don't know if you have come across it. That VPN will enable you to open your royal queue and it will load properly for you. But you need to use Nigerian server. Once you open that VPN, change the server to Nigeria and connect. Once you connect, just go and open your royal queue. Everything will load immediately. So that is the only solution for now. Only if you're using Starlink. I use Starlink. I don't face all those with my Starlink network. Everything opens perfectly. So please take note about that. Okay. Let me see. Coach, I started with $100. What settings can I use? If you're using $100, please make use of Magic 3 default settings. Don't even think about using bull tactics. If you're using $100 to trade, please start trading with Magic 3 default settings and remain patient. Once it sells, you trade another coin. If it sells, don't go and overtrade. You cannot trade 3 coins with $100. Please, you are overtrading it. It's not going to give you the result you want. So, King Nelson, I believe your question has been answered. Okay. Oh, somebody already answered your question. Okay. Thank you, King Ekison. All right. Let me go through again. If you have a $400 capital, please trade with Magic 3. Say 400 divided by 3. 400 divided by 3, what do you get? 400 divided by 3 will give you what? 133. Trade 3 coins, 2 on default, 1 on bull tactics, 133 per coin. I hope that is clear with Magic 3. Do we have any other question? Do we have any other question? Please feel free. If you have any question, drop your question on the chat before we call it a night. The name of the VPN is called USA VPN, but it's a premium VPN, but you don't need to pay, please. Just request for it on the group. I'll share it. If I see the message, I'll share it on the group. Okay. I'll share it and also the guide on how to use the VPN. Everybody here needs that VPN because our network is just messy lately. Okay. So you need to have that VPN as a backup. What if you divide your capital by 2 instead of 3? Yes, you can. Sure, you can. You can. All depends on you. But what we always say is minimum. At least minimum should be 3. But you can trade 2 coins, please. Okay, you can trade 2 coins. But if you're trading 2 coins, you either choose if you want to trade 2 default or 1 default and 1 bull. But I would advise you to trade 3 coins. But all depends on you. Just try and see, and whatever you get, you can always adjust. Okay, but you already know what we are trying to say. I hope it's clear. The bull taxes to sell downtrend is bull taxes category 2. Please rewatch this session again. Once we're done, I'm going to upload it on the YouTube channel and share the link across the group so that you can have a rewatch to understand better, okay? I hope that is okay. Defaults, details of the margin configuration figures. Please watch the recording, you get everything. Everything is there on the recording. Okay, please, is there anyone in Abuja? Okay, please, I need questions. There is no duration of time this robot trades for you, or a duration of time it will sell. Once you are on a trade, all you just need to do is to remain patient. Some trades might take 24 hours, less than 24 hours. Some trades might take less than 4 hours. Some trades might take even a week, 3 days. Just remain patient. That's the reason why I said at least have 3 coins trading for you. If your capital can carry 3 coins and above, so that when one coin is taking time, maybe the 2 will close or sell faster, you can now have your capital out and trade another coin. This is why we say risk management here is very important. We are always emphasizing on risk management. Don't go and put all your capital on one single trade. It is very risky, please. What I mean by risk is that it might take you a longer time for that coin to sell because nobody controls the market. I hope it's clear. All right, so thank you so much for your time tonight. Like I said, we normally do this every Fridays. We have a session tomorrow, which is understanding or learning how to trade, pick trades, analyze trade and pick trades by yourself. So if you want to learn how you can analyze and pick trades by yourself, please don't miss our session for tomorrow. Same time, same place. It's going to hold. Ensure you are here. Ensure you bring in all your team members to come and learn. Okay? Thank you so much, everybody. Goodbye from this side. Have a wonderful night rest.